Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Kayla Lords.
John Brownstone.
Of Loving BDSM, where we help kinksters like you have happy, healthy power exchange relationships. Part of having a happy, healthy power exchange relationship is having a sense that you're with a person who is good for you and also wants to be a safe person to be with and wants to also have a happy, healthy power exchange with you. So we've got a teeny tiny, almost like little series going on here. Just recently, our podcast episode / live stream was on green flags in relationships. Some signs to look for that things are probably on the right track and things are potentially going to go well. And I thought, well, maybe we should talk about this outside of just power exchange and let's look at DOMs and subs individually. So this video is on signs of what makes a good dom. Like if a person is calling themselves a dominant and they exhibit these signs, in our opinion, they're most likely a decent dominant partner to have. It's basically the opposite of the red flags thing. Like, let's focus on the positives.
There you go.
So this list is, we try to make it specific to dominance, but that does not mean that switches, subs, other people won't exhibit these characteristics. We also know that this list is very subjective and things that may be important to us might not be important to you, and that is okay. We also know that sometimes people will exhibit these behaviors and be shitty people. So there's no perfect list. But we thought, if you're like, I've been burned in the past, I've been taken in by, predators and gross people and wannabes, and how can I kind of know? Or if you're a dominant who's like, am I on the right track? First of all, if you're the type of person who's asking, am I on the right track? You probably are. Just saying.
Good chance of it.
Good chance of it. So this is our personal criteria.
Yep.
Okay, just understand that. Okay, so I've done all the disclosures. Let's actually get into the list.
There we go.
Okay, so good doms will earn trust and respect before demanding submission.
Absolutely. Trust and respect are two things that are so important. Without it, you got nothing. And even for you big Ds, you're going to use the P word, patience. It takes time. Trust isn't something that's given in a few minutes. It may take weeks, it may take months. It took months with you.
It did. It's not really demanding either. You're going to ask, you're going to request, you're going to solicit, you're going to encourage, you're going to, there's a lot of ways to do it. Some people find the demand thing hot.
And sometimes it's not even asking or requesting. It's a matter of, over time, being observed as a decent person. It's freely given.
Right. It's offered. It's, hey, can we do this together? Yeah.
Right. It's something that's needed. It's at the base of what you're trying to build, and it can take time. Be patient. You have to work at it. Nothing good comes without effort.
A good dom will move at a slower pace in kink so that you, the submissive, have time to learn. So maybe they know a lot and you don't. They're going to slow their roll.
Imagine that. Being patient, taking your time again.
And allowing the other person to catch up a little bit and get their feet under them and understand what's going on.
And that works either way. Not everybody is always exactly where the other one is. There's always going to be a difference. I mean, using us for an example, I had been in the lifestyle a lot longer than you had at that point. And one of the things I used to do to her was I would give her tasks of researching different kinks. And then we would talk about them. And there were things I didn't know about that I had to take the time to learn. You kind of have to pace yourself and learn together and give each other the space to grow.
And the opposite of that means that it's not a good sign when a dominant pushes a submissive partner too quickly into kink that they don't know about yet. You want your partner to have some understanding of a thing, even if you're the one teaching them, so that they understand maybe the risks, so they can advocate for themselves, so they can give full consent in a safe way.
Right. Good
doms will admit their mistakes and apologize.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is something that's very big with me, personal responsibility. All right. Just because I have the title of daddy, dominant, it does not mean I am perfect, that I never make a mistake. I do. At the core of it all, I am human.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
I fuck up.
Damn, you said the F word.
I did,
I
didn't
thought
I?
that was my job.
Yeah, you know. And I am man enough to own up to my mistakes and apologize when I'm wrong. Okay? And that is something that goes a long way to going back what we talked about earlier, earning the respect and trust.
Yep, it is much easier to know that I can trust you in other things when you are willing to say, oh, I thought that thing and I was wrong. I did that thing and I was wrong. And I'm sorry. And how can I make it right?
Yep.
That is compelling evidence to me that you are a person of integrity and I can trust you to have control of me in some way.
There you go.
Good doms, to my fellow submissives out there, they stay within your boundaries and respect it when you say no or ask them to stop. So you might use a safe word, you might use the traffic light system like we do, you might just say no, and in absence of any negotiated safe word or other option, no means no. But if you say, these are my boundaries, and or, okay, now you've gone outside of my boundaries, we just discovered this boundary, please stop. A good dominant stops. They might be disappointed. They might wish they could continue, but they freaking stop.
Yeah. Respecting boundaries goes both ways. But here's the thing. When it comes to respecting boundaries, if we're in the middle of a scene and this one starts screaming at me, give it to me, Daddy, do everything, do anything you want. That is not carte blanche. That does not mean I can do, sky's the limit. It means I can do anything I want within the limits of her boundaries. Okay? And it is important to know that. Just because someone is having a great time in a scene and they're screaming, do it all,
right,
does not mean you do it all. Especially if it hadn't been prior negotiated.
Right, because if you get out of the scene and they were like, oh, you could have done more, you go, okay, that's information for next time. Let's explore what you mean by more. But when you get that sort of open-ended invitation, you still stay within what you know that they're okay with. That's why discussing and negotiating and talking about boundaries well before you play is such an important part of power exchange.
Yep.
Because then you as the dominant know where your guardrails are. You know where your fence line is and you stop there. Unless they ask you to stop sooner. Next, good doms admit when they don't know something.
Absolutely. Again, it kind of goes back to making mistakes. I don't know everything. I'm always learning. I'm always wanting to learn new things, but I don't know everything. And, that's why I'm always reading books. I read informational blogs. I go to workshops. I talk to other people because there's always something to learn. It's impossible to know everything.
Sure.
And I may know, some things I know a little bit about, other things I know a lot about, but I don't know everything, and have to be willing to admit that.
Stay humble, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Stay humble. We, as submissives, tend to put our dominance up on pedestals, and we are like, you're perfect, you can do no wrong. Well, that's not true. First of all, that's not true. But also, there are dominants that kind of get used to being venerated that way, and it goes to their head. And that's a human thing to have happen. If somebody is constantly telling you you're the most amazing human being on the planet and you can do no wrong, it's possible to kind of like go, oh, this must be true because I keep hearing it every day. But humility is a fine trait to have.
Yeah.
And simply saying, I don't know, is okay.
Right.
It is at that the moments you said I don't know have been the moments we've had the opportunity to go, okay, well, let's figure this out together. And that's been in life stuff and that's been in kink stuff.
It's a growth moment.
So a lot of us have heard of fake it till you make it. Fake it till you make it. The time I need you to not fake shit is when you're dominating, topping, controlling another human being.
Yeah.
Confidence you can fake until you have it. Sure, if that gives you the power to like move forward. But faking that you know a kink, faking that you know how to tie somebody up, that you know how to properly use a paddle, that you know what the hell a St. Andrew's cross is, that you've ever followed up on rules or tasks before, and not admitting that there's a thing you just don't know, you are setting both of you up for major disappointment and potentially going to lose the trust of the person who was relying on you when you said you knew something.
And more than that, there is an inherent risk in kink, and trying to fake it till you make it could do some serious harm to people, whether it's physical or even emotional. All right, so that is not something you want to put on the plate in this lifestyle.
If you understand and respect the idea that BDSM is sort of a lifelong learning thing, if you don't want to use the word journey, it's fine. But as you've said many times, kinksters are lifelong learners. There's always something new to learn and explore. And so if you walk around not admitting you don't know something, you've just blocked off the opportunity to learn something. Admitting, hey, I don't know much about that. I've never heard of that. I'm not sure what to do here, becomes a learning and growth opportunity. Your submissive learns they can trust you because you will tell them the truth, that you don't know something.
Right.
You get the opportunity to go explore a thing, and you don't know where that'll take you. You might find your new favorite kink from doing that. And I would say be wary of a submissive partner who freaks out when you admit you don't know something. Their expectations of who you are and what this power exchange thing is may be a little off, okay? You are not expected to know it all. You do not have to know it all. It is okay to say you don't know it all.
True.
Final one is that good doms set their submissives up for success.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is something to me as a dominant that is so very important. I've heard through the years so many dominants say, I'm going to tear this person down. I'm going to break them. You know, I cringe when I hear that. I cringe inside. I think a part of me just shrivels up and dies. That is so far from what a dominant should be doing. A dominant should empower their submissive. A dominant should help their submissive grow. One of the things I did with her when we first met, what are 5 things about your that you want, that you would change in your life? And you know, it took you a little bit to think about it.
Sure.
And you finally did come up with something, and I was like, okay, how can I help you achieve this? How can I help you get there? And I did. That's what I did, and have been doing it ever since. We help each other.
Right, absolutely.
I think it is so important in kink. It's talked about so often. You know, I'm using a cane tonight. I'm pushing her boundaries. You know, and that's all well and good. That's good stuff too. But what about helping them achieve personal boundaries?
What about helping them achieve a goal that they've always wanted? And sometimes help is not, let me give you all the tasks you have to do in order to achieve that goal. Sometimes it's, I'm going to support you. So does that mean that I help you get to bed on time and I set a rule for you if you're willing to consent to that? Does it mean that I'm open to you coming and talking to me about the thing you're working on whenever you have some news? Does it mean that I will sit and brainstorm with you over ideas of what you could do? Or does it mean that I will help you work through things that have gone wrong? You know, support. Dominants, I think, sometimes get this idea in their head that to help up their partner do anything, they have to come up with a 10-point plan, 85 rules, and then take on the responsibility of following up on all the tasks every moment of every day. Look, if you want that, both of you want that,
That's
go
fine.
for it.
There are people that do, but
But helping your submissive succeed can simply be being supportive.
Right.
Listening when they talk
being
about
their
it,
cheerleading section.
asking questions and encouraging them to talk about it, being willing to offer solutions, also being willing to just let your partner rant. We are both fixers in that kind of personality,
Yes.
but when it happens in dominance, it comes across as, well, you've got to do these 5 new things, and here's a new rule. And it's like, well, is that what your submissive wants? Is that what they need? One of the things you were very clear on when we were talking about this sign of, you know, being a good dom or on your way to being a good dom, was that you really didn't like it when dominants purposely create things where they know their submissives are going to fail. And not enough punishment. We've talked about punishment. That has got to be a consensual thing where, yeah, I made it super hard, but nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you know that you're going to get some fun punishment when we're done here.
Right.
This is different. I've set this impossible task, and I know they're never going to make it, or they're going to break themselves trying, so that we can do this punishment thing.
Yeah. And not only that, you know, what I look at it at that, when you set somebody up to fail, it strips away their self-worth. All right? And that, to me, goes against the tenets of dominance and submission. Okay? It's supposed to be a building up.
Both partners should be made better by the association with one another.
Absolutely.
Not worse.
Absolutely.
Wow, we almost got some JB rants there. Wow. See, I'm not the only one. Wow. For the person who's like, but what about submissives? That video is coming. Okay, I promise. We're starting with dominance. Partly because when dominants are bad dominants, they are dangerous dominants.
Yeah.
People get hurt mentally, physically, emotionally, does not matter. There's a huge responsibility to being a dominant. These are, in some ways, some of these things are skills you have to learn. You have to get used to being wrong. You have to get used to learning how to admit mistakes. You have to get used to, you know, some of the things that maybe your outside life has not required of you in order to be healthy. These are good skills to have. They're all transferable to your vanilla life, by the way.
Sure.
So I don't think that if you're looking at this list going, well, I don't do any of these things, that you are irredeemable. I think that you can learn how to do this if this speaks to you. And I also think that if your biggest worry is that you won't be a good dominant, half the battle has already won, okay?
Yeah.
Because the truly awful, awful doms out there do not care. They think their way is the only right way. They walk around with this whole, I'm the dom, I can do what I want, fuck you, you got to do what I say because you're the submissive, that kind of attitude. And they see their partner not in a scene as less than, which can be hot and sexy when negotiating, but in life as just less than them because they're the submissive. And that inherently makes for a bad and also dangerous partner regardless of role. So if you're like, oh, I don't do all of these things, they're all achievable. You can do them. You can learn how to do them. You have to practice them, which means you have to be bad at them before you get good at them. But if you are even caring about being a good dom, you're doing okay. You're on your way.
There you go.
And let's just remember that this list is subjective. These are our signs. These are things that are important to us. You might think other things are more important, or other characteristics are more important, or there might be some that we didn't even list. So we invite you to drop your list in the comments. What to you makes someone a good dominant? Share, because we can all pick up different ideas and different ways of being, and we can also look at things and go, that matters to that person, but it doesn't matter to me, and that is okay. So those are our signs of what makes a good dominant. We look forward to hearing yours. If you enjoyed this, please give us a thumbs up. If you want more, including the next video that comes out about what makes a good submissive, please consider subscribing.
And ring the notification bell so you get updates of new content.
Sure, just do what Daddy says. If you really enjoy what we do here, you want to help us do more of it, and you want to get access to content that you can't get anywhere else, please join us on Patreon at patreon.com/KaylaLords. Bye.